What are widows and orphans? And why do these strange terms matter in typography? In design, widows and orphans are not people. They are typographic problems, small mistakes in text layout that can make a page feel awkward, unbalanced, or unfinished. A widow happens when the last line of a paragraph appears alone at the top of a new column or page. An orphan happens when the first line of a paragraph appears alone at the bottom of a column or page. Some designers also use the word widow to describe a single word left alone at the end of a paragraph. Either way, the problem is the same. The text rhythm breaks, the reader's eye stops, and the layout begins to feel less professional. At first, this may seem like a tiny detail, but typography is built from tiny details. A beautiful page can be ruined by one awkward line sitting by itself. Imagine reading a book. You turn the page, and at the very top, there is only one lonely line from the previous paragraph. It feels disconnected, like it doesn't belong there. That is a widow. Now imagine the bottom of a page. A new paragraph begins, but only the first line appears before the page ends. The rest continues on the next page. That is an orphan. It creates an uncomfortable pause. The paragraph starts before the reader is ready to continue it. Widows and orphans are especially important in books, magazines, newspapers, reports, and editorial design. But they also appear in websites, blog posts, presentations, and digital layouts. Anywhere text flows across lines, columns, or pages, these problems can happen. So why do designers care? Because good typography should feel smooth. The reader should move through the text without unnecessary interruptions. Widows and orphans interrupt that flow. They create visual imbalance. They make white space feel accidental. They weaken the structure of the page. Professional typography is not only about choosing a beautiful font, it is also about controlling how text behaves. Line breaks, paragraph spacing, columns, margins, leading, hyphenation. All of these details affect rhythm, and widows and orphans are signs that the rhythm needs attention. How do designers fix them? There are several techniques. The simplest method is editing the text. Sometimes removing or adding just one word can change the line break and solve the problem. Another method is adjusting tracking. A tiny change in letter spacing can pull a word back into the previous line or push text forward. Designers may also adjust the width of the text box. A slightly wider or narrower column can completely change how the paragraph wraps. Leading can also help. Changing the space between lines may rebalance the page. In editorial software like Adobe InDesign, designers can use keep options to prevent single lines from appearing alone. On the web, CSS can help control widows and orphans in some situations, although browser support can vary. But the most important tool is still the designer's eye. Automated settings can help, but they cannot judge visual rhythm perfectly. Sometimes a technical fix creates a new visual problem. So designers must look at the page as a whole. Does the text feel balanced? Does the paragraph flow naturally? Does any line look abandoned? These questions matter, because typography is not just about reading, it is about experience. A well-designed text layout feels calm and intentional. The reader may never notice the absence of widows and orphans, but they will feel the difference. Bad typography creates friction, good typography removes it. Widows and orphans remind us that design lives in the details. The space at the end of a line, the position of a paragraph, the rhythm between pages, the flow of reading. These small decisions shape how professional design feels. So what are widows and orphans? They are isolated lines in a block of text. A widow is usually a final line left alone at the top of a page or column. An orphan is usually a first line left alone at the bottom of a page or column. Both disrupt reading rhythm and visual balance, and both should usually be avoided in polished typography. The next time you read a book, magazine, or website article, look closely at how paragraphs break. You may start noticing lonely lines hiding in plain sight, and once you see them, you will understand why designers work so hard to remove them. Because in typography, even a single lonely line can change the feeling of an entire page.